What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Bit of Footy YouTube channel. Now today we are doing our weekly tips as we always do. I'm just looking on the tipping competition right now. I'm currently sitting 18th in my own tipping competition. We've got X Hendy and Cardman 22 sitting on top with 20 points each, so that's a close one, followed by Rory Padson, Jordy Pluto, both on 19, and then a few 18 pointers after that. Well, I'm just sitting on 16, so realistically I'm only four off the leader. That was 3, this is 4. But yeah, I feel like, you know, I could make a cutback if I tried. But yeah, we're gonna go through my round 4 tips, and yeah, let's go. First game on Thursday night is between the Swans and the Bombers. I will be streaming this game, so make sure to, you know, be watching that one. I'm gonna tip, you know, the Dons played pretty well against the Saints, but haven't just the Swans. They're looking really hot at the moment, beating the Tigers at the MCG as well, like, and not just by a small margin, by a massive margin. The young Swans are just looking incredible at the moment. The Dons, obviously, they beat the Saints, but you know, the Saints, they're just looking a bit lackluster at the moment. So in this one, I'm going to tip the Swans, and we'll say by, I'm going to go a bit hefty, 23 points in that one. Next, we have the Power versus the Tigers at the Adelaide Oval. It's going to be a big clash, this one. The Power coming off a loss against West Coast, and the Tigers obviously coming off a big loss against the Swans, now playing up in Adelaide. This is going to be a big match, but I think I'm going to have to go with the home side, the Power, in this one, to bounce back at the Adelaide Oval and get a bit of revenge for their loss to the Tigers last year in the preliminary final. So I'm going to have to tip the Power in that one for me. We move on to the Saturday games, kicking off with a bit of a good one. The Dogs taking on the Lions at Mars Stadium in Ballarat. I'm going to tip the Dogs in this one just because of their form recently. Bruce kicking 10 against North Melbourne, then obviously the previous wins, one against the West Coast and one against the Pies. They've started the season 3-0, whereas the Lions just, you know, clawed their way over the line against the Pies with the kick after the siren. This game could go any way, really, but it's at Mars Stadium. The Dogs play that ground really well, and they're looking for 4-0, and you know, I really feel like they'll get it, so I'm going to tip the Dogs. Then we have the Saints taking on the Eagles at Marvel Stadium. I'm going to tip the Eagles in that one. I don't know what to say about the Saints. They looked really good in round 1, beating the Giants. You know, they look like a really good side then. But besides that, since then, they've just looked pretty average, with only a few players really performing well for me. One of those being Steele, another one being Membry. But besides that, a few of the players have sort of dropped off form from 2020. Whereas the Eagles, you know, they're an up and down side, but they really shouldn't be losing this game against the Saints, and that's why I've tipped them. Then we move on to the 7:25ers on Saturday night. The first one between Gold Coast and Carlton. This one should actually be a very good contest. The Blues coming off a big win against the Dockers, the injury depleted Dockers. What do we say about the Suns? They're a 50-50 side at best, you know. They only lost by 10 points against the Crows. They're back at home against the Blues. I'm really tempted to tip Gold Coast. Carlton, though, their forward pressure was very good last week, especially their midfield as well. They were good. Patrick Cripps rose to the occasion, 29 disposals and a few goals. Well, not even 29, 30 plus. I'm going to tip Carlton. I just have a feeling that Carlton can get the job done, but no doubt I wouldn't be surprised if Gold Coast were to win that game. But it's going to be big. You know, you got King versus Mackay. You know, it's going to be a good game, that one. I can't wait to, well, I'm not going to be able to watch it, but can't wait to see the results. Then we move on to a game that I'm going to on Saturday night. It's the Pies versus the Giants at the G. Now, if the Pies lose this one, it will be embarrassing. I've just heard that the Giants have got a few injuries coming out. They've got Phil Davis, they've got Cornelia, and they've got De Boer that are going to miss out on playing the Pies, which is going to make it very difficult. Normally Jeremy Cameron plays a good game against us, and now the Giants don't even have Jeremy Cameron, so surely Collingwood get the win in this one. They have to go 2-2 just to get a little bit of form back in. So yeah, I've got the Pies over the Giants. And then we move on to the Sunday games, kicking off at Marvel Stadium for the game between North Melbourne and Adelaide. This one is a bit of a tough one to tip. Adelaide are all of a sudden playing well. North Melbourne are playing shit, but I could see this as a game where North Melbourne do pick up their first win of the season. But just because Adelaide are playing just that bit better than North Melbourne at the moment, I'm gonna tip the Crows just to be safe. But if North Melbourne win, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked at this point. Then we have a big game between the D's and the Cats at the MCG. This one's actually shaping up to be a thriller. The D's have won 3 games on the trot, and I believe the Cats have... No, they lost to Adelaide. They lost to Adelaide, so they've won 2 games on the trot now. Both of them have been close games, and especially that win against Hawthorn was impressive considering they did have only 2 on the bench left, the Cats, but... You know, we're talking about a very good Demon side at the MCG. No Gary Ablett to cause the Demons some havoc. You know what? I'm going to tip the D's in this one. I don't know. I just have a good feeling that the D's can get the job done over the Cats. I don't know. The Cats have just been in so many close games that eventually it just has to break sooner or later. So yeah, I'm going to tip the D's in this one at the G. Then the last game on the Sunday is the Dockers taking on the Hawks. I'm going to... I don't know. This one's a tough one. This one's a really, really tough one. I mean, the Hawks look bad, but they almost got the job done. They almost got the job done against the Cats, whereas the Dockers looked really bad, like really bad. I'm almost inclined to tip the... Oh man, I'm almost inclined to tip the Hawks in this one. Okay, so Nat 5 is expected to play. No Lockie Schultz though, which could be interesting. Oh, I was thinking about tipping Hawthorn. Nat 5's back in though. I'm going to tip the Dockers because it's at home, but like a few other games, I wouldn't be surprised if Hawthorn got the job done. So, there are my 9 out of 9 tips submitted. And yeah, there we go. That's all the tips done for this week, lads. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in another video soon. Cheers.